What is happening, my people? You're listening to the Introverted Nerd Watches. I am your host, Reese, and I am back to review this awesome winter finale of The Gifted. Oh my God, you guys, it was so good. This was probably my favorite episode of this show so far. It's definitely my favorite episode of the season. Just all the good things happened. Oh my God. I can't believe we're going on another break with this show though. I feel like we've been going on a break like every 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know what I'm going to do. A break for the holidays after this episode, you guys, come on. But it was so good. I watched this episode twice. I loved it both times. Just everything was good about it. Oh, I can't. I'm sitting here like looking at the screen, like thinking about it, like, oh, it was so good. You can't see that, but that's what I was doing. So before I get into it, you need to subscribe to the podcast. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast. Hit that subscribe button, and rate and review the podcast for me. Also, recommend it to your friends and family. That's always a good thing. I like that. So let's get into this episode. It's about season 2, episode 9, Game Changer. And yeah, the game has changed. This, I can't even, I have changed my opinion about so many people. Jace is complete shit. He is trash. He cannot be redeemed. Like, I don't know what he can do to be redeemed. I can't think of what he can do to be redeemed at this moment. But right now, he is complete trash. He is like full-blown purifier. Garbage human being that guy is. Reed Strucker, who I hated. Like, Reed was just the worst. Reed and his wife Caitlin, they were just awful. Reed has stepped up. They have redeemed Reed in my eyes. Well, I mean, he's still he's white privileged man. But he is just so, he has changed so much. I can empathize with him. I can, he's not the worst anymore. It's not just, it's not selfish and self-centered Reed, who only cares about his family. Like, Reed has really stepped up. Lauren is still the best Strucker. She's still the adult in the room, even with her parents. But yeah, they really changed Reed in my eyes. They really redeemed him, which means that he's probably going to die. And I predicted that. So I'm kind of even though I kind of like Reed right now, I'm kind of rooting for death just so I can be right. But even if I'm not right, like at this moment, Reed has gotten so much better for me that I don't want him to die anymore. Caitlin, they can have. Like, Caitlin, I'm, officially giving up on, even though she wasn't as terrible in this episode as she has been in the past. Yeah, the mutant gods can have her. She can go. I'm done with her. And Reeva, my girl Reeva, who I love so much and can wear the hell out of some black lipstick. I feel like my girl is slipping. Like, even though her plan is working right now, I feel like she is about to, she is losing control a little bit. I'll get into that a little bit deeper later in the episode, but I feel like my girl Reeva is losing it's subtle, but I feel like she is losing control, and she doesn't realize it. She doesn't realize that she's losing her grip on the inner circle. So yeah, so much going on, so much I loved about this episode. I can't even think of something that I didn't like. So I'm going to start with the purifiers and Jace, since there wasn't a ton of them in this episode, but yeah, Jace, full blown trash. He's basically the leader of the purifiers now, in all but name. What's his name? Ned Flanders is like, he's like doing the purifier speakers circuit. Like he's they're having meetings, and Jace is like the guest speaker there, and he's telling them that they're going to form militias, citizen militias. He's just really gassing these people up. And from episode to episode, his language has changed as he's gotten deeper and deeper in with these purifiers. It started out as he was telling them, it felt like he wanted to use them to get what he wanted. Like he wanted to use them to capture mutants, to capture mutants. And his language started out telling them that they weren't the bad guys, that mutants were, the terrorists, that they were basically fighting the good fight. And he was telling them not to sink to the mutant level. He didn't want to hurt anybody. In this episode, he was admonishing people for having guns. He was, telling them how, terrible it was that they were taking guns out with them. And now the first thing he's telling them is, he's telling like the people on the street, like if they see mutants, call them right away. But he is taking weapons with him. He took a gun with him, and they are just shooting mutants on sight. So things have changed for Jace. Like Jace is really deep into this shit. And I've thought right from the beginning, right the second he chose to go down the purifier lane, I thought, okay, he's going to end up the leader of the purifiers. What I didn't think is that he would change that much. I thought that what he would do is bring the purifiers more over to his line of thinking, because I do think that first season Jace had a sense of justice. And even earlier in this season, Jace had a sense of justice that he wanted to be done. I didn't think that he just wanted to kill all mutants. Now it's just sort of the last thing he says to them in the meeting, where he's like or not even a meeting, it's more like a rally almost, is that he tells them that mutants are messing with the wrong species. And I'm like, ew. So that's, that's what we're doing now, Jace. That's the route we're taking. They're messing with the wrong species. He's even against the police and Sentinel services, which, when he was talking to what's his name, Sean Hannity, the Sean Hannity guy, he was telling them that he didn't want to say anything bad about Sentinel services because he still has friends that work for them. But now it's basically like, fuck them. He just doesn't care about them anymore. And he ends this episode capturing John, stupid John, who is just so reckless and out of control in this episode, gets captured by Jace. So it's so good too. I don't know. Like, what's he gonna do with the John? Like, obviously he's going to question him, but he doesn't have he no longer has access to all of that that Sentinel service tech that he had before. So what are they going to do to John to they're going to torture him or something? Like I can totally see Jace torturing John at this point. Because everything is just sort of collapsing on itself. Like Reeva's John and the other people, the other purifiers are still talking about, I mean, obviously they're still talking about the people that Rebecca killed. Rebecca killed something like 35 people or something like that. I don't know how, it was over 30 people in that room of people that she killed. And that I think that's just what sent Jace over the edge. It's just like, okay, fuck all this noise. They all gotta die is basically his mindset right now. It seems to be the police's mindset too, because we hear radio or TV reports throughout the episode, and the police are the police are being told to shoot on sight. Police, and I believe Sentinel Services too, being told to shoot on sight. So yeah, Reeva done started something. And that's basically all Jace did in this episode. So yeah. The Struckers. The Struckers were really interesting in this episode because Lauren tells right up front, she tells her parents, yo, this ain't all it seems. Madeline, Dr. M, is out here wanting to create she wants to suppress all X genes, suppress X genes in all mutants. And Lauren is like immediately wanting to come up with a plan. Like for Lauren, the second she found out about what Dr. M was doing, she was like, okay, yeah, none of this. She wants to save her father, but she is also like, no, we cannot do this to all. We cannot help her make something that's going to affect all mutants in this way. We can't let it happen. And Reed and Caitlin, sometimes they are just such naive children. The second Lauren tells them, both Caitlin and Reed go, no, Lauren, maybe you misunderstood. She wouldn't do that. She wants to help us. She wants to help me, and it's like, you guys, you have been on the run for how long? You should be more suspicious of these things. You should be more skeptical of people. Like, come on. Stop it. There's no longer any excuse for the lack of skepticism in either of them. So the fact that they are telling Lauren, maybe she's just mistaken. And it's like, no, Lauren is not mistaken. She knows what she's talking about. Listen to Lauren. How often do they have to learn that lesson? Just listen to Lauren. That should be Lauren's answer to everything. Every time her parents question her about anything, it should be, just listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. Just listen to me. Remember what happened last time you didn't listen to me? Listen to me. Should be just what Lauren says anytime Caitlin or Reed question her about anything. But actually, shout out to Reed, because Reed is the one that comes around first. When Reed finally pays attention to what Lauren is saying to him, he's the one that says, okay, we need to immediately, we need to destroy everything so she can't replicate anything that she's doing right now. We need to destroy everything. And this is with Reed knowing that he needs her help in order to, control what's happening with him. So I'm like, okay, big ups to Reed for not only thinking of himself, because especially since he knows how much pain he gets in when his when he's unmedicated. it's a slow clap for Reed for thinking of other. Well, no, I'm not going to be. I'm being a little over the top, but just just I know myself. I would be like, you'd be worried about yourself, right? Like if you're sick and this person is really close to getting the cure for what's wrong with you, it will be really difficult to turn that down. For something that might not happen. Like she might not try to infect all mutants with her, suppression medication. She might not do that, and that's what you have to be thinking. Like if you're Reed, it's like she might be a good person. She might be wanting to do the right thing, but shout out to him for thinking of others, for being concerned about others, and for telling Caitlin, because Caitlin's first thing is like, Caitlin's first thing is to be selfish, is like, your dad needs this, your dad needs this cure. And she tells Lauren, hey, maybe we can make her stop. We'll let her cure Reed, and then we'll make her stop doing her research. And I'm like, Caitlin, we'll make her stop. First of all, you can't do shit. Like you're not a mutant. You don't have powers. You got Lauren. That's the only thing you got right now. You got Lauren and a sick Reed. So you got nothing. And so basically she's telling Lauren, hey, you'll stop her after your dad is cured. We want you to do everything, Lauren. We want you to give your blood so that she can use your blood to create a cure for your father. And then we want you to somehow stop her and make her not continue her research to create the cure for all mutants. Like, come on. Caitlin being trash. Caitlin just always, even when she's not trying to be trash, she's being trash. And I guess are we supposed to be on her side? Like, does this show realize how awful Caitlin comes across to most people? I gotta think that they wouldn't be writing her like this if they didn't. This show is too good for them not to realize how garbage her outlook is most of the time. Like they have to realize that, right? They have to realize, and maybe they think that we as the audience, and maybe, I'm just one person, maybe other people do, agree with Caitlin's line of thinking. I cannot think of who that person would be, and I don't know that person, but maybe you do. If you do, email me, theintrovertednerd@gmail.com, and tell me why you agree with her. But maybe they think, okay, she cares about her family. Maybe they think that we can see where she's coming from on that level. Like she clearly loves her husband. She loves her son. She sometimes loves her daughter. It depends on what the day is. So maybe they think that we can sort of identify with that. The fact that she loves her husband so much and she wants to save him. Maybe that's the thing. But other than that, my God, is she terrible. So anyway, Lauren and the rest of the Struckers, like, this is one place where Lauren is like just as like not good as they are. They are such bad actors. They look suspicious like right from the bat. Like as soon as they decide, okay, we're going to destroy all her research, they walk around badly acting. Especially Lauren. I love you, girl, but goddamn, was she so. Like it was almost like she wanted to get caught, because she was talking to the cute young doctor mutant that was taking her blood, and she's trying to be subtle, I guess, but she's being so obvious about it. She wants to go see the blood that that he's taking from her. And she's asking a lot of questions, which is not suspicious in and of itself. But then when he tells her where like her blood is being kept, she says, "Ooh, can we go and see that? I really want to see it." And he's looking at her like, "You want to see the blood? It's just a refrigerator. Like, it's nothing special. There's nothing, nothing great is happening back there." And she's really pushing it. And he ends up taking her back there just because she's a cute girl. I think that is the deal. He likes her. So he ends up taking her. But he does end up telling Dr. M, we don't see it, but he tells Dr. M like, "Yo, I took her to see the blood." And Dr. M is smart enough to figure out that, something's going on, and they're not telling the truth. So one thing we do find out is that Lauren has two versions of the X gene, which they don't go really deep into it, but Reed's grandparents also had two versions of that. One of his grandmother, I think, also had two versions of the X gene. And when his grandparents used their powers together, they were stronger, like Lauren and Andy. And Dr. M wanted to see Andy too, but obviously that didn't work out. And so they eventually go, the Struckers go to destroy the all of the blood and everything that's in the refrigerator, but Dr. M catches them. And then we get Dr. M showing her true colors like we knew she would. So she ends up saying that that the X gene is a curse, and that she's trying to save the human race by what's her name? Caitlin accuses her of wanting to commit mutant genocide. And she counters that by saying, no, she wants to save the human race, and that she knows what really happened in Atlanta and what Lauren did in Atlanta. And she tells them that Lauren should have been an abortion. And it's like, ooh, like she's saying it all in a really nice way. She's saying it all in this sort of really nice sort of auntie, a nice aunt way. Like, she's being really nice about it, but she's saying some really harsh shit. And cute young doctor, hears everything that she's saying, and he's like, oh shit, like, you convinced me that there was nothing wrong with me, but what you were really doing was just manipulating me so that you could create this this quote unquote cure for the X gene. And he takes out the little gadget that was helping suppress his powers, and he has the power of like an earthquake. I think like everything started vibrating around him, so I'm guessing it's like the power of the earthquake that he can't control. And he destroys everything, and I'm guessing that he died in there. Like, he just destroyed the whole building. Like, I don't know, the Struckers run out, and that's the end of that. Now, Caitlin did steal some of the original medication that Reed had been taking, that had suppressed his powers for so long. But Dr. M does give like this, this sort of, she tells what happens when Reed goes off of the medication. Like, if he doesn't get the permanent medication and he continues to take this sort of the medication that he was taking, what happens is that his X gene sort of overloads, and it like sort of explodes. Like, his energy builds up and then it sort of explodes, and we get what was happening to him earlier in the season, where he's just sort of a ball of fire, or at least his arms are. So I'm guessing that is going to, that's going to be how he dies, right? That has to be like he's going to run out of that medication eventually. She only had 2 little bottles of it. Caitlin did. And so that must be the way, like he's going to run out of that medication eventually. Or if he doesn't run out, it's just going to stop being effective. And his cells are just going to explode with energy and he's going to be like non-existent. Who knows what's going to happen to him physically, but he can't exist that way. And her research is all destroyed. So I feel like we're leading to the death of Reed, which I'm, like I said, I'm not happy about right now. I'm kind of liking Reed. Yeah. So sad times for the Struckers. We're going to get more sad Struckers. Sad Caitlin we're going to have to deal with if Reed dies. So, yeah. And so I don't know where they're going to go next. I'm guessing they're going to go back to the DC area to hook up with Marcos and Clarice or whoever. I don't even know where they would go with the purifiers around. Like, did they get chased out of that building? Did Clarice and Marcos and them, are they still in the same building or are they in someplace new? I think they're still in the same place. So maybe they'll go back there, but shit is wild in DC area right now. So who knows what they're going to do. So yeah. Now the underground. The underground is also falling apart. Marcos is distraught because Dawn is gone. And John just has this one track mind right now. He cannot he just keeps wanting to push forward toward the inner circle. It's almost like he thinks if he gets rid of the inner circle, if he defeats the inner circle, then all of the other problems will be gone. But it's like, no, things are just so much bigger now. I don't know what. He's just so reckless in this episode. Marcos is like truly, he's really distraught. He's staring at pictures of Dawn. And John walks up to him and is like, hey, brother, I need your help. And Marcus is, basically sitting on the ground crying. And John is like, wipe those tears. I don't care about any of that. We got to go. We have to find this guy that works for Regimen. And he doesn't care about anything else. And he's doing things behind their backs now. So Marcos agrees to help him. They agreed to, Clarice also agrees to go. They want to go talk to this Regimen guy. And then when they get to, the building, outside the building, John lets them know, hey, we're going to kidnap this guy to question him. And it's just like last minute, I'll tell you guys I want to kidnap somebody at the last fucking minute. And Marcos and Clarice are rightfully like pissed, like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? And it's like, really, what is he doing? A couple episodes ago, he was mad at Clarice for helping Erg, steal food for not the underground, but for the Morlocks. And now he wants to straight up kidnap a guy. Like, what? Like, what are we doing, John? He is so out of control. And John and Clarice but Marcos and Clarice are side-eyeing the shit out of him. Like, those two aren't really getting along now. But it's like they're both like, what the fuck are you doing? You are out of your mind, dude. So they kidnap the guy. It ends up being like, that ends up going bad too, because security starts shooting at them. And Clarice tells us that John, even after security started shooting at them, he kept wanting to go forward. So yeah, she's pissed. Nobody, like they don't know what he's doing. He doesn't really have a plan, or if he does have a plan, John, that is, he's keeping it to himself. He's just not, he refuses to tell them like what he's going to do next. So they kidnap this guy, and they end up finding out that Regimen controls, or they manufacture and control the collars that the mutants wear, that the mutants are put on when they're incarcerated. So they control all of them everywhere. If a mutant is incarcerated, whether it's in a mental institution or a prison, Regimen controls the collars. So that's what they find out. And before he can give them any more information, Fade comes in and shoots the guy. So that guy is dead. Reeva sent him to kill that guy before he could stop what she wanted to do next. Clarice is just upset with John through the entire episode. She's so right to be upset with him. She's telling him that they're not helping people the way they're supposed to. He keeps talking about, he wants to help mutants. He wants to save mutants. But she's telling him like, yo, what we just did is getting more mutants in trouble, because she tells us that the police are searching for them now for the kidnapping that they did. The police are searching for them. And in their search for them, they're just arresting all mutants they come across. So yeah, there are a lot of people, like they're creating more problems than they're helping at this point. And even Marcos has to like, John is like really being really aggressive with the guy from Regimen before Fate kills him. And Marcos has to pull him away and say, yo, like, what are you doing? We're not trying to fight a mutant war. We're trying to protect the people we love. And he basically tells them like, yo, if I'm the one that has to tell you to calm down, then you're really out of control. Like you need to do something. And the last straw for Clarice is when she tells him that the mutants are being arrested because of them. And he is just like, so what? We got to do what we got to do. And, he just not caring about it. And he accuses her, he kind of low key accuses her of cheating on him, because he throws in her face that she gave info to Erg and that she was, stealing stuff with him. And Clarice is just sort of like, you know what? Fuck you. And she tells him, I'm going to go fix all the problems that you created. And she just walks away. He pushed her away for no reason. Now, this is my ship, you guys. You know it is. I cannot take this if they break up too. Like, Lorna and Marcos are they're on the outs right now. Now, Clarice and John, I can't take it. Like, my heart can't take this. Oh, my heart can't take this right now. I need them to work things out. I need John to get his shit together. Like, really accusing her of cheating on him. Like, she's been following him with his all the bad shit that he's been doing. She's been following him, and he's still like, he throws this in her face. Like, come on, John. I'm so mad at him. I'm so mad at John right now. And then after Clarice leaves, the purifiers show up. Jace and the purifiers show up in a truck. They just show up shooting. As soon as they see John and Marcos, they just shoot. What's his name? Fade ends up getting shot. And John, for some reason, tells Marcos to help Fade and leave. Like, it was one truck with a couple of, two dudes with the guns, and what's his name? Jace driving the truck. Marcos could have helped John, and they could have, all three of them got out of there. But for some reason, John wanted to like sacrifice himself. Like before he tells Marcos to leave, he tells Marcos that he was right, and that that they are fighting for the people they love. And so he just runs towards the truck, and he runs into the truck, and he stops the truck, but he ends up getting pinned up against a wall, and that's how Jace catches him. But I'm like, why is he sacrificing himself? You know, it's almost like he decided like nothing else he was doing was working, so he decided to like martyr himself or something. Like I don't know what his mindset was for that, but Marcos could have helped him, or they could have all just ran away. Like I don't understand why John chose to do what he did. It was so ridiculous. It was just so like another bad John decision. When this is all over, Blink should be running the underground. Like she's the only one out here making sense. Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, her only place to go is back to the Morlocks, back to Erg to ask for help. And I think that's what she's going to do. Like try to convince Erg to help the mutants, that are being like rounded up at this point. So who knows? And Erg has already said he didn't want to get involved in this fight. He thought all of this was stupid. So he's going to be really hard to convince. Like, I don't know what's going to happen there. It's just all a mess. And John, it just created a bigger mess. But I can't wait to see what happens between him and Jace. So good on him for creating good drama. And so on to Rebecca and the inner circle. So this episode starts with a flashback to Rebecca's life with her parents. Turns out Rebecca was living a good life. You know, her parents seemed fairly wealthy. They were the kind of wealthy people that put up paintings of their children instead of photographs. So there's like 2 paintings of 2 little girls on the wall in their breakfast room. Yeah, so that's where Rebecca came from. And Rebecca seemed like a fairly normal kid. I mean, she was walking around using her powers in front of her parents to like mash up her pancakes, but it wasn't she didn't seem dangerous or like it didn't seem like there was any. She just seemed like a fairly average kid. And then but her parents are acting weird. And then we find out her parents called Sentinel Services. And it's like, oh shit. She has those parents. Like, oh my God. Like, how do you call Sentinel Services on your kid? Her dad, we do get little hints that Rebecca has been a problem though. She asks her parents if she's been kicked out of school again. They say no. So yeah, she's been kicked out of school at least once before. And when Sentinel Services comes and Rebecca's asking her dad, like, why did you do that? He says that you almost killed your teacher. What we don't know is whether what she did was an accident or whether she was actually trying to, hurt her teacher. And we'll never know because Rebecca dies in this episode, you guys. Rebecca gets killed. What? I was so prepared to have Andy and Rebecca run off, do their Bonnie and Clyde thing. But no, they subverted my expectations because Rebecca is dead. And she gets dead by Andy. So Rebecca is locked up in a box. And she's being kept in constant motion inside the box. Also that she can't, get her bearings about her and, can't use her powers. That's what Reeva wants. She won't stop screaming. So oh my God. Reeva is basically torturing her again. Andy is not happy about it. But Reeva won't let her out. And this is why I think Reeva is starting to lose her people. The tech mutant, that woman whose name I can never remember, goes to Reeva and tells her, like, yo, Rebecca won't stop screaming. She has been screaming for 24/7, basically. I don't know how long she's been screaming, but she's been screaming for a long time. And she's obviously disturbed by it. And she goes to Reeva to talk to her. And Reeva's like, yeah, and and she's like, well, maybe we can do something to help her. And Reeva's like, nope. No, this is this is how it has to be. And she makes the comment that Rebecca still has her part to play. So I'm wondering, like, what does she want Rebecca? Like, okay, what ends up happening is that Andy is like questioning everything. He's upset that Rebecca is locked up. And he talks to Lorna and he's questioning whether everything they've done was worth it, since she had to send Dawn away and Rebecca's locked up, and, he's just upset about everything. He also talks to Reeva and, Reeva is basically trying to manipulate him, telling him that she's sorry about, what happened, about having to lock Rebecca up, but she can't just let her loose on the streets and blah, blah, blah. After the conversation with Reeva, Andy goes and breaks Rebecca out, and, his idea, he wants to run away, and, he thinks Rebecca wants to run away with him. Rebecca does not want to run away. Rebecca wants that smoke with Reeva. And instead of going out, Rebecca goes up to the penthouse where Reeva and the rest of the inner circle is having a meeting. And while they're on the elevator, she's telling, Andy is saying, we need to get out of here. We don't want no smoke with Reeva. Let's just leave. He's telling her, I know you didn't mean to kill those people. And Rebecca stops him again. She tells him again, yes, I did mean to kill those people. I wanted to kill those people. She says it straight up. Yes, Andy, I wanted to kill those people. Of course I wanted to kill those people. And now I want to kill Reeva and the rest of the inner circle too. And it's like, okay, Andy, like, she told you this. She told you this last week, that she wanted to kill those people. You ignored her. She's telling you again. She wants to kill, she wants to kill these people. And Andy finally has it beat into his head. He finally listens to her, that he finally believes her, I guess is the point now. When she gets off the elevator, he's trying to stop her. He's trying to tell her no. And she actually threatens him too. So yeah, Rebecca is not about those games. She lets him know, I will, I like you, Andy, but I will take you out too. And so when Rebecca starts walking down the hall, getting ready to kill Reeva and crew, Andy knocks her out. He, flings her so hard across the floor or whatever. She hits her head. She dies, instantly. And poor little Andy is left crying over her body, saying that he's sorry. And, it's up to Lorna to talk to him again and to tell him that, that what happened to Rebecca wasn't her fault. That basically being in the mental facility is what did that to her. And they need to continue on with Reeva's plan. The plan is to destroy the tech at the regimen place, so that they can release all the mutants from their collars. And doing that will get justice for Rebecca. Basically, releasing all the mutants will get justice for Rebecca. And it was kind of ironic because Rebecca is one of the few mutants that couldn't be collared. The collar didn't work on her. She could turn it inside out. So it's kind of funny that, doing this, releasing all the mutants from their collars is going to be justice for Rebecca when, these collars were not enough to hold Rebecca. But anyway, this convinces Andy, and they go and they go finish Reeva's plan. Andy and Lorna are the ones that destroy, the computers and stuff. And Reeva actually says that she thinks that Andy killing Rebecca was, Andy saving them was proof that he finally chose them. And that he finally sees them as, his family, the fact that he chose them to save them over Rebecca is her sign that Andy is finally on their side. I'm afraid that she might be wrong though. I think she might be losing her people to Lorna. Esme already has a kind of tight relationship with Lorna right now. Andy looks to Lorna as the person that he can go to, the person that he feels most comfortable with, I think. And I think at one point or another, everybody is side-eyeing Reeva's decisions. They don't say anything, but they are sort of questioning them, especially Esme. And I feel like the other two cuckoos are going to go wherever Esme goes. Like, no matter how much they bitch at her, they're going to go with her. So if Esme goes with Lorna, then that's where they're going. And I feel like just slowly but surely, Reeva is kind of losing her people. But Reeva does see the release of all these mutants as the true mutant uprising that she had planned. And I have to admit that it was kind of like, it felt kind of joyous, seeing all these mutants released from their collars. Like when they figure out that their collars are no longer working. I mean, one mutant does set a guard on fire, but the others just running out, just escaping from their bondage is like, it is a real like hell yeah moment. Now some of these people may belong in prison, and we'll see what the hell happens. Like this is complete and total chaos. Reeva can't control this. She just wants the chaos. So yeah, this shit is crazy. It's crazy that she wanted chaos, but Rebecca was a little too crazy for her to have out on the streets. Like, she could have just left Rebecca out on the streets, and released all these other people, but no, Rebecca, and okay, obviously she didn't kill Rebecca. Andy killed her, but I wonder if this was the plan. Like, what was her plan for Rebecca? When she says that Rebecca, still has a part to play, I don't know, like, what was the part that she had to play? Was the part she had to play, was she so many steps ahead of Andy that she knew that Andy was going to try to break Rebecca out? Like, she couldn't have known that Andy would break Rebecca out, that Rebecca would try to kill them. So, like, she couldn't have been that far ahead, that she knew that. And because she looked surprised when Rebecca and Andy came into the room. So I wonder what the hell was the part that Rebecca was supposed to play? Was it just for her to get Andy on her side? Like, I want to know. It obviously doesn't matter right now since Rebecca's dead. So whatever. But that, you guys, is the end of the episode. Everything is up in the air. The episode ends with all the mutants escaping. Escaping from prisons, escaping from the mental institutions. Yeah. Everything is up in the air, and John is caught. Clarice is nowhere to be seen. She's MIA right now. The Struckers are still in North Carolina. And this shit was great. Whew. So what is Reeva's plan next? Like, what is she's not controlling any of these mutants. So what is her next step? What's her next step in this plan? We won't know until January 1st, because that's when the show comes back. I believe it's at a new date and a new time, or maybe it's just a new time. The show comes back on January 1st, New Year's night at 9:00, not 8:00 anymore. Which is going to be a problem for me because Black Lightning comes on at 9:00 on wait, let me see if is January 1st on Tuesday? Yeah, January 1st is on a Tuesday. So Black Lightning comes on Tuesdays at 9:00. So I don't know what I want to do, you guys. I can't live tweet both shows at the same time. I want to see The Gifted. Okay. Yeah, so if I got to flip the coin, then The Gifted wins, because I've liked The Gifted this season more than I've liked Black Lightning. So if The Gifted is now coming on at 9:00 on Tuesdays, then I'm watching The Gifted first, and I will just watch Black Lightning. I will just DVR Black Lightning and watch that later. So yeah, I'll be back for the New Year's episode. Oh my God, I cannot wait. So follow me on the socials. I'm on Twitter at NurturevertPod. I live tweet The Gifted whenever it's on. So follow me there. Use the hashtag NerdyWatch, and you can tweet along with me. On Instagram, I'm at The Introverted Nerd, and like the Facebook page at facebook.com/The Introverted Nerd. If you would like to send me feedback about any of the shows that I'm doing right now, Saved by the Bell, The Gifted, Black Lightning, send it to theintrovertednerd@gmail.com. And until the new year, everybody, later.